Taichiblue Studios.
This knowledge drop is this is addressed at those Finale and Motif users out there. You know, people that are using the Finale notation software in conjunction with a Motif synthesizer, or maybe even if you're using the MoX, the Yamaha MoX synthesizer, this would apply to you. I do most of my recording, actually all of my composing, arranging, and my orchestration on the Motif in combination with the Finale software. And I use the Finale software mostly to create charts for the other musicians that I play with, or lead sheets for the musicians or the vocalists that I perform with. And if I'm doing some kind of extended composition, I would also use Finale for the score. And initially, I started out just doing the using Finale just to kind of document the the chart or the lead sheet and make it available to the whatever the musician was. But here's the problem that I ran into. I would give the chart to the musician, or the lead sheet or the sheet music to the musician, and the lead sheet or chart wouldn't exactly represent what I was playing. What my composition was supposed to sound like, or something would be a little off. And so what I started doing was, what I tried to do initially was to get Finale to really match my composition exactly, as closely as possible. And that was kind of tough to do. Just transcribing the notes. So what I decided to do was to take the recording that I would make in song mode or in pattern mode on my Motif, convert that to MIDI, and then bring that MIDI file into Finale, and then try to get Finale to play that back. And originally, Finale played it back to the built-in Garriton sounds, and the Garriton sounds are okay, but they don't really match up to what's going on my Motif. Any custom designed synth sounds I couldn't hear in Finale, and I do customize a lot of my synth sounds, and quite frankly, many of the orchestral instruments on my Motif actually had more. They sounded better. It had a richer sound than some of the Garriton sounds. So I wanted Finale to, when it did the MIDI playback, to actually use my Motif sounds. And that was kind of tricky figuring that out. There was a little documentation in Finale. You jump on the web, there was some real scanty information, but not really anyone saying exactly how you would make that happen. Saw a few little things, little hints here and there on YouTube, but no one really explained that whole process with any level of detail would allow me to replicate it. So that's what this knowledge drop is about. I decided, hey, I figured it out, and so I'm going to put together like a 3-part knowledge drop that explains how to bring your MIDI file in from your Motif, or like I said, from a Yamaha MoX, MoX, into Finale, and then get Finale to play that MIDI file back on the Motif. And so I didn't want to try to squeeze it all into one long 45-minute video. So I'm going to break it down into 3 parts. The first part is going to talk about how to set up the Finale instrument list to use the Motif. And so we'll the idea of using Finale's instrument lists. If you had whichever version of Finale that you have, make sure that it has an instrument list, because that's what you would need to do this. And then connecting that to the Yamaha Motif sounds. That's what part 1 is going to be. And then part 2 is going to show the actual process of importing the MIDI file from Motif into Finale. And that's not as straightforward as it might seem, although there's a pretty, when you open up Finale and you point it to a MIDI file, it will bring a MIDI file in, but you really need to know what to do if on your Motif you have multiple tracks of percussion. Say you have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 drum tracks, multiple percussion tracks. You need to know what to do and how to bring that properly into Finale. And that wasn't easy to find. I had to go through a lot to figure that out. So I thought I would also share that aspect with folks out there that are using the Finale software in conjunction with the Motif. And then part 3, I'm going to break down how to set up the Finale MIDI device setup, how to use that with the Yamaha Motif synthesizer, how to properly set all of that up so that Finale talks to the Yamaha Motif and the Motif talks to Finale, and you can really, with the setup that I have, when you make edits in the Finale, you would be able to bring those into the Motif song or pattern mode. And when you make edits in the pattern mode or in the song mode on the Motif, you would bring those in the Finale. So you can kind of go back and forth, and you can compose and arrange on either one of those instruments and share a single MIDI file at the end of the day that will work in both environments. So that's what this 3-part knowledge drop is going to do. I'm just putting it out there for those folks that are maybe like me, that they don't use sample libraries to play back their MIDI and Finale. Instead of that, they use their synthesizers. There are times that I will use a Garriton instrument if it's particularly has a nice sound or appropriate for some the song that I'm doing. But most of the time, when I want Finale to play back my MIDI, my arrangements, my compositions, I want them to be played back on my synthesizers. And so if you're like me and you've got a Motif, or a MoX, or something similar, and you want Finale to play the MIDI back to that, then this 3-part job is going to be for you. And so that's it for this part, this little intro here. I will be posting the streams for part 1, 2, and 3 shortly. And so I'm breaking up the 3 parts because you may already know how to do one part or another, and you may only be interested in looking at the video for one part. And also, I didn't want to have these videos be too long. Okay, so see you guys next time.